Hare Krishna, dear friends. This is a part 3 of our audio message about fine speech. And we have some evidence from the scriptures, some wonderful statements and quotes that we want to look into. So we are continuing with Chaitanya Charitamrita, quotes from the verses and the purports. When a pure Vaishnava speaks, he speaks perfectly. How is this? His speech is managed by Krishna himself from within the heart. Srila Ramananda Raya accepts this benediction from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he admits that whatever he was speaking was not derived from his own intelligence. Rather, everything was coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, they had a conversation, and this is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is a situation where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he is asking questions. So usually we have devotees asking Krishna questions, or we have Arjuna asking Krishna questions, or Uddhava and other devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramananda Raya is answering questions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking a position of an inquirer. My devotees take great care and respect in rendering me service. They offer obeisances to me with all their bodily limbs. They worship other devotees and find all living entities related to me. For me, they engage the entire energy of their bodies. They engage the power of speech in the glorification of my qualities and form. They also dedicate their minds unto me and try to give up all kinds of material desires. Thus, my devotees are characterized. So it is said here that devotees engage their power of speech in the glorification of Krishna's qualities and form, and of course, devotees engage their voice or power of speech in chanting the holy names of the Lord and glorifying the holy names of the Lord. In Vrindavan, the natural speech of the people sounds like music, and their natural motion resembles a dance. Now, sometimes we hear that somebody is speaking and it sounds like music. It's so beautiful. Even it is just a speech. It's not a singing, but it sounds like singing. Out of Srimati Radharani's qualities, her speech is charming, and she is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly. Krishna's speech is considered to be sweeter than nectar. Each of his jubilant words is full of meaning, and when his speech mixes with his smile, which is like camphor, the resultant sound and the deep meaning of Krishna's words create various transcendental mellows. So now there is different, epithets or characteristics of Krishna's speech are described here. It's sweeter than nectar. His words are jubilant and full of meaning. And yes, when his speech mixes with his smile, the resultant sound creates various mellows. Then one of Krishna's qualities is that he is a fluent talker. A person who can speak meaningful words with all politeness and good qualities is called Vavaduka, or fluent. There is a nice statement in Srimad Bhagavatam regarding Krishna's speaking politely. When Krishna politely bade his father, Nanda Maharaj, to stop the ritualistic offering of sacrifice to the rain god Indra, a wife of one village cowherd man became captivated. She later thus described the speaking of Krishna to her friends. Krishna was speaking to his father so politely and gently that it was as if he were pouring nectar into the ears of all present there. After hearing such sweet words from Krishna, who will not be attracted to him? So apart from Krishna's beautiful form and many qualities that Krishna has, his sweet voice, his sweet words, his speech is very attractive. Krishna's speech, which contains all good qualities in the universe, is described in the following statement by Uddhava. The words of Krishna are so attractive that they can immediately change the heart of even his opponent. His words can immediately solve all of the questions and problems of the world. Although he does not speak very long, each and every word from his mouth contains volumes of meaning. These speeches of Krishna are very pleasing to my heart. So this is from Nectar of Devotion. Krishna is a fluent speaker. Now, what Uddhava is saying about Krishna's words and Krishna's speech here also can be a guideline for us, that when we speak about Krishna, when we speak about Krishna consciousness, we want to help change the hearts of people. And Krishna can change the heart even of his opponent. Then his words can immediately solve all of the questions and problems of the world. Imagine if your preaching, your words, your advice, your tips could solve all the questions, could, answer all the questions and solve all the problems of the world. Now the next point is that Krishna doesn't speak very long, but every word from his mouth contains volumes of meaning. So earlier actually we spoke about essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. And here we have illustration that Krishna is speaking essential truth, Krishna is speaking concisely, and Krishna is supremely eloquent. Another quality of Krishna that is described is in the Nectar of Devotion, is that he is a pleasing talker. A person who can speak sweetly even with his enemy just to pacify him is called a pleasing talker. Krishna was such a pleasing talker that after defeating his enemy Kaliya in the water of the Yamuna, he said, "My dear king of snakes, although I have given you so much pain, please do not be dissatisfied with me. It is my duty to protect these cows which are worshipped even by the demigods. Only in order to save them from the danger of your presence, I have been obliged to banish you from this place." Kalia was residing within the water of the Yamuna, and as a result, the back portion of that river had become poisoned. Thus, so many cows who had drunk the water had died. Therefore, Krishna, even though he was only 4 or 5 years old, dipped himself into the water, punished Kalia very severely, and then asked him to leave the place and go elsewhere. Krishna said at that time that the cows are worshipped even by the demigods, and he practically demonstrated how to protect the cows. At least people who are in Krishna consciousness should follow in his footsteps and give all protection to the cows. Cows are worshipped not only by the demigods. Krishna himself worshipped the cows on several occasions, especially on the days of Gopashtami and Govardhan Puja. So these were quotes from the Nectar of Devotion, and now we have one quote from the Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami. Nectar of Devotion is also a book by Srila Rupa Goswami. First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad means a frog in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of the frog simply invites the snake. Please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the frog goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self-imposed silence, the external process of mauna, as Mayavadi philosophers think. Silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. So now here we have some amazing things in this passage from the purport of the Nectar of Instruction, verse 1. The last point that is mentioned is that the one who is always speaking Krishna Katha, or who is preaching, is beyond the clutches of death. So simply by speaking about Krishna, one can protect himself from death. Controlled speech means positively engaging our tongue in glorifying the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. Another example given here is how dangerous it is to speak materialistic things, to speak about materialistic topics, or to hear about materialistic topics. Croaking of a toad or croaking of a frog is mentioned as an example, metaphorical example. And we know also about the this bird, I forgot, crows. Yes, crows. crowds are always attracted to garbage. Similarly, materialistic people are always attracted to materialistic topics, and this keep them tightly bound to the material energy. So anavriti shabdat, one can be liberated simply by sound. The very power of speech is proof that there is a supreme power who is giving us everything, and we may say the supreme power is giving us the power of speech also. Just as the barking of a dog may be considered unlawful, offensive speech may also be considered sinful, for it is just like barking. 2. Offensive speech is sinful. So if you offend someone by our words, this is sinful. The point is that sinful activities can be committed in so many ways. One may think of them, one may speak sinfully, or one may actually commit a sin. In any case, they are all considered sinful activities. Dhruvam savai pretya narakanu paiti, one has to suffer punishment for such activities. So dangerous to speak sinfully or to speak about sinful activities, even thinking is dangerous. In the Mukunda Mala Stotra, it is said, the perfection of speech is to chant the glories of Lord's qualities. Then we have Sripad Madhvacharya quoting a verse from Varaha Purana. I believe it is in his commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11. Kechit unmada vadbhakta bahya linga pradarshakaha kechit antara bhaktasyuhu kechit chaivo bayatmakaha mukha prasadat dadryachcha bhaktir gyeya na chanyataha. Now this is one of my favorite verses in all of the scriptures. Some devotees of the Lord exhibit external symptoms, acting like madmen. Others are introspective devotees, and still others partake of both natures. It is by one's steadfastness and by the merciful vibrations emanating from one's mouth that one's devotion can be judged, not otherwise. So in relation to speech, we are interested in the part where it is said the merciful vibrations emanating from one's mouth. So what can be considered a merciful vibration? A merciful vibration is speaking based on the scriptures or reciting scriptures. A merciful vibration is speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others. This is also described in the Bhagavad Gita. Now we are moving to some lectures of Srila Prabhupada, and we will read quotes from his lectures. My thoughts, my speech, whatever I create, everything belongs to Krishna. This is Krishna philosophy, and actually that is a fact. And when Krishna was actually present, he was attractive in so many features. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he was speaking the Bhagavad Gita, the speech which he delivered, although he is not present now in our vision, you cannot find in the whole world such attractive speech of wisdom. So he's speaking about Bhagavad Gita here. Nobody can say what we have got, practical experience about his speech. which is still going on, still we are trying to understand. The great scholars of the world, the philosophers, they are trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. There were many, many great scholars and saintly persons all over India, but each and every one of them have tried to understand Bhagavad Gita. Even Professor Einstein, he was reading Bhagavad Gita. So his attractiveness, Krishna's attractiveness, is evidently presented by the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. So he is all attractive. So this is a lecture from Hawaii, 30th March 1969. And now we see that from Hawaii, one person, one woman, one devotee, Tulsi Gabbard, she is now running for the presidency of the United States. And as a member of Congress, for the past 3 years, she was member of the United States Congress as a member of a Democratic Party. She sweared on the Bhagavad Gita, because to be a congressman you have to swear, as far as I understand. She swore on the Bhagavad Gita, and he has publicly declared her faith as Vaishnava Hindu. And Srila Prabhupada was preaching in Hawaii, and she has a huge respect for Srila Prabhupada. And I'm sure she will, if she becomes a president, she will try to implement Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Or at least I believe that. Now we have a few more sections. I will just try to see how to preach. Actually, we don't have so much more to go through out of what I have collected for you. But unfortunately, I don't have time now to go through this. So we will do it in our fourth part, which I will do either this evening or tomorrow. So we have a section called Speak Sweetly and a section called How to Preach. And thank you very much for listening. I see that some devotees are on the line, so thank you so much for listening. I hope this is helpful and useful to you, and I wish you a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.